Hi guys, today I am going to be speaking to Reece Loftus. He's set up Silktown Racing and he's just listed his horse Mooserwirt with us, and he's going to talk a little bit about the process of setting up and getting started with his syndicate.
It was my granddad that got me into the racing. He's always been interested in horses and national hunt racing.
What would you say was the best day you've had at the racecourse?
There's two probably. I'd say my stag do, which we went to the October meeting at Cheltenham. And then my second favourite would be the first time I took my kids to the races, which was a family fun day at Uttoxeter. It wasn't the best racing, but in terms of a day out and what it meant to me.
I like that you've got both ends of the spectrum covered there, family friendly day out, and then not sure I even want to know what you got up to at your stag
Yeah.
on the course. Dream track to have a runner.
Probably Cheltenham on Gold Cup Day.
Favorite racing moment of all time?
Probably Arkle with the third Gold Cup.
Who would play you in a racing documentary?
That is a tough one. I'm going to say Leonardo DiCaprio, but
That's a
in his younger
fantastic
years.
choice. Yeah, I can see the likeness. I think that's a good one.
Yeah. He's nearly as handsome as me, isn't he? So.
Yeah, exactly. Do you want to tell me first what kind of inspired you then to make the leap from going to the races, loving the races, into actually starting your own syndicate?
I've been involved in a few micro syndicates over the last few years, and it was basically wanting more from that experience that led me into this. So my idea
Mm.
was to create something that was almost like a middle ground between, your classic 10% syndicates and the micro syndicates. So that was what I looked for. I couldn't find it, so I created it myself. And
Good
yeah,
man. That's very commendable. It's obviously quite a big step to do. Um, tell me a bit about kind of the process of setting up the syndicate. How did you find that?
the whole process of setting the syndicate up was more involved than what I initially expected. Obviously, going into it, I had never set a syndicate up before. I didn't really know what was needed to do so. So it's been a big learning curve.
Now you're set up, are you excited about the process, about what's ahead?
Yes, yeah. Can be a bit daunting because obviously you've got to do the hard part now, which is obviously sell the shares, do the advertising, get word out there of what you're
Mm,
trying to do. I feel like I know exactly what I want from this syndicate, and I'm imagining that the other members are going to want the same. So hopefully we'll be able to provide that experience and that level where you feel, even though you
yeah.
own 2.5 to 10%, you'll feel like you own the full horse. And that's the sort of feeling that I want all our owners to have.
Once you've sold all your shares, what's the thing you're most excited about doing next?
Probably start getting really excited for the first race day, his first run, looking at the Silktown Racing silks for the first time.
Yeah,
Um,
big moment.
yeah, that'll probably be the next big one after that. We'll probably have like an owners' day where we'll meet all the co-owners and have a bacon butty, watch the horse train, have a tea and
Love the
coffee and
bacon.
all that. Yeah, get them chatting, making friends, WhatsApp groups start, and go and watch the horse train. Yeah, and then after that, it's obviously start looking at what the target is for the season.
And what's the weirdest thing that you encountered in the process of setting up the whole syndicate?
So I'd say the weirdest thing was when I was trying to get my syndicate manager's license, which again is something that I didn't know you needed before starting this. So as part of that license, you have to do online learning courses. And one of the steps as well is proof of funds.
Hmm.
Even before you've got going, you need a buffer of £15,000, which is something that I think needs changing personally because that is a quite a big hurdle.
We spoke about this a little bit before, and you mentioned that the steps that are put in place, the idea is it's sort of for the horse's welfare, is that right? That it's so that
Yeah,
yeah, tell me a bit more about that.
yeah. So I can see why they've put it in there. Obviously, they are doing everything they can to ensure that the horse's welfare is at the forefront of everything you're doing, which is the right thing. If the horse falls ill, they need to know that
Hmm.
you have the funds there to get the horse better. But there's other ways of doing it than just saying you need £15,000 sat in a bank account.
So then going on to sort of the industry in general, do you think that do you feel the industry is welcoming to new voices or younger people trying to do things differently?
What I will say is my first experience of a trainer and a yard, Oliver Greedall, Josh Guerrero at Stockton Hall Farm. I think I've fallen lucky getting in touch with them to start this, because the amount of help that Oliver has given me personally throughout the whole process of setting this up, he's been really welcoming. And I think that stems from him wanting to encourage younger people getting into racing.
Going back to creating your syndicate, what if you were to sort of give us a few quick points on key things that you've found in that process? What did you learn that you'd wish you'd known before starting?
So the first thing you need to do is obviously get in touch with a trainer and buy a horse, or source a horse that you're going to use as your syndicate horse. You need to have a syndicate plan. So you need to know the structure, the pricing, and what your syndicate is going to offer in place. You need to register with the BHA as an owner. You need to get a syndicate license so you can manage syndicates. You need to create the syndicate on BHA, which again goes under your ownership as a syndicate. You can register as a solo or as a business. You need to create your advertising for the syndicate. So, website, Facebook, Instagram, all the social side of things. And then after you've done that, you need to actually start selling the shares, register everyone with the BHA through your syndicate. That's it, yeah.
So you think that's the key thing, to have a plan before you start?
Yeah, you need a plan. A lot of those steps that I've just mentioned have costs as well. All the steps with the BHA, creating the syndicate, registering yourself, registering racing colours, even registering a trainer against your name. And it does add up. Advertising. So that's another thing to consider if you are thinking of starting a syndicate. But hopefully, once it's all set up and you've got yourself a syndicate and you've got a group of people that are going to create probably lifelong friendships with, if it all works out, and you have a good few years together going to the races, it'll all be worth it.
Yeah, you've got to be optimistic, right?
Glass half full.
So what do your family make of this? Are they like, Reece, this is so impressive, can't believe you started as a syndicate, you're a legend? Or are they like, Reece, I can't believe you started as a syndicate, what are you doing?
Probably more the second one, to be honest.
Oh no, that's not
Yeah,
very encouraging.
I've had most of the support from my missus, because she likes the racing as well. So she's really been, really supportive and helpful. And
Oh,
she's probably the one that pushed me to actually do it. Because I had
hmm,
the idea and I was like in and ahhing, and she was the one that sort of said, you know what, just go for it and see how you get on. So
that's really good. So you got a lot of support there at least.
yeah, yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Mooserwirt. Obviously, we've had a bit of back and forth about the name, which has got some attention, and you've had a bit of luck with some sponsorship.
Yeah. So Mooserwirt is a ski bar in Austria. After I spoke to you on Instagram a couple of weeks ago, I actually got in touch with the bar. Proper long shot, just sent an email and said, this might be a weird one, but I've started a syndicate. I've got a horse which I believe is named after your famous bar, and I'm just wondering if you'd be interested in sponsoring. And after a couple of emails back and two, the guy sort of got on board, saw the funny side of it, and yeah, he's agreed to sponsor the Silks. So Mooserwirt will be running with Mooserwirt written on the front of his silks, which I think is quite funny.
That is very good. So you're going to go there to celebrate when you get a win.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, as soon as he wins his first big race, yeah, me and the co-owners are all going to go there and have a massive party. And the guy who owns it said that when that day does come, he'll put something on for us. So that'll
Amazing.
be yeah, that'll make a good video. Can
Absolutely.
imagine.
You'll
Yeah,
you'll have to buy shares in the bar as well.
yeah, yeah. I'm not sure I could afford that, but
Micro shares.
yeah, micro shares. Yeah.
Tell us some of the details about Mooserwirt himself.
So Mooserwirt is by Sholokov and No More Storms. He's 5 years old, chestnut gelding, and he is a point-to-point winner by 9 lengths at Brocklesby Racecourse. The way he won, I must have watched that video of him winning that now by probably about 20 times, and every time I sort of notice something different about that win, and I think he has got a lot of potential. He's going to go novice hurdling in his first season, and then long term he will be a staying chaser, trained by, in my opinion, one of the top up and coming yards in the national hunt scene. Um, I think they had 58 winners last year, Oliver Greeno and Josh Guerrero. So
Nice.
I think he's got a lot of potential. I'm really excited to get to a race course and watch him run. Obviously, side by Sholokov, that's quite a big one because he has produced some very good horses. No More Storms is a fairly new mare to the scene, so she's not actually produced many yet, which I think is a positive because again, she was by presenting, and he's produced a lot of good horses, same as Sholokov. So, he's got a very good pedigree when you look into it. It's getting the hype around how good the horse could be, I
Yeah.
think, is one of the biggest selling points for being involved in a syndicate. With Mooserwirt, he could be anything. So you could be winning the Grand National, you could be winning the Gold Cup. You don't know, and that's the selling point. I feel like the whole thing is setting up to be hopefully a bit of a fairy tale story, and hopefully there's few people out there that want to be involved with this. We'll have hopefully a load of absolutely incredible days out at the races along the way.
Reece, thanks so much for chatting about your experience setting up Silktown Racing, and yeah, all the best of luck with it.
Thank you very much.